recording? Yes, okay. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today is Monday, August 12th, which is exciting because it means that tomorrow is my birthday. But it also means that this week is my birthday week. So for this week's video, I wanted to do all of my favourite kind of bookish things. So that's going book shopping, going on a little solo book date maybe, updating my reading journal, and of course giving you a haul of all the books that I get for my birthday. So hopefully this should be a fun one. I think I want to start the video off with a little bit of birthday book shopping. Since it's my birthday week, I feel like I deserve to get myself a few treats. So what I might do is go do some shopping and then do a smaller book haul at the start of the video with the gifts from me to me, and then at the end of the video I'll do a haul of the books that I received the rest of the week from other people for my actual birthday. I've got a few places that I want to go and see, so let's go. I just dropped all of them on the floor. Okay, so it's actually been a couple of days since my last update. So I went and did the book shopping and things like that, but then everything got ahead of me and I haven't managed to jump on and give you the haul. So I wanted to do that now of the few books that I got from this little bookish shop. So let's get started. The first book that I picked up is called The North Wind by Alexandria Warwick. This is both a Beauty and the Beast retelling and a Hades and Persephone retelling, which is what drew me to it in the first place. It says, Wren of Edgewood is no stranger to suffering. With her parents gone, it is Wren's responsibility to ensure she and her sister survive the harsh and endless winter. But if the legends are to be believed, their home may not be safe for much longer. For 300 years, the land surrounding Edgewood has been encased in ice and shade. A magical barrier that protects the townsfolk from the deadlands beyond weakens. Only one thing can stop the shade's fall: the blood of a mortal woman bound to wedlock to the North Wind, a dangerous immortal whose heart is said to be frigid as the land he rules, and the time has come to choose his bride. So I don't know if you could tell by that, but I was immediately hooked. It's a fantasy romance, which I feel like this is the last month of summer, so I'm going to be starting to look at the fantasy books that I want to pick up, and I was immediately drawn to this one, so picked it up immediately. The rest of the books that I picked up on my book shopping trip were all from the works, including this one by Claire Douglas called The Couple at Number 9. This one is a mystery thriller about a young couple who buy a house and start doing renovations, and while the renovations are being done, they find two bodies buried under the porch or in the back garden, and then it starts linking back 30 years ago to a murder that happened that has to do with her relative, and trying to uncover what happened with that. I thought it sounded like quite an interesting one, and I do like to have a mystery thriller on hand for kind of in between any romance or fantasy, as something easy to pick up. So that's that one. The next book that I picked up is called Holding the Reins by Paisley Hope. If you can't tell already, this is a cowboy romance book, and that is the first thing that drew me to it. And then I'll read you the 2 paragraphs on the back that immediately sold me on buying this. Cece Ashby is looking for a fresh start. After escaping the toxic relationship that has consumed her adult life, unsure of what the future holds, she returns to the small town of Laurel Creek and her family's ranch. Nash Carter is the recently retired hockey superstar of the Dallas Stars, Laurel Creek's hometown hero and notorious bachelor. He may look good in a cowboy hat, but he's also Cece's brother's best friend, and therefore off limits. If that doesn't sell you on reading this book, then I don't know what will. After a summer of reading cowboy romance, I could not leave this. Not to mention it also has these pink sprayed edges, so I couldn't resist. The next book that I picked up was actually Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I'm not going to talk too much about this one because I feel like everybody knows about this book and all of Emily Henry's books at this point. But I actually read Beach Read for the first time this year, and that was my first Emily Henry book. I enjoyed that one, so I wanted to pick up the next one. And this was on for just £4, which is an absolute bargain. So that was the next one. And then the final books that I picked up in this haul were Saving and Redeeming 6 by Chloe Walsh, which are the 3rd and 4th books in the Boys of Tommen series. I actually already have the first two on my shelf unread, but these were both in the works for £5 each, and I feel like for books this size to be that cheap, I couldn't not pick them up. So I'm really hoping that I actually do enjoy this series, because I have now committed to reading all of them without even seeing. So yeah, that's all the books that I picked up on my shopping trip. Spoiler, my birthday has already happened, and I've got at least 20 books in addition to those that are for my birthday haul at the end. But before we get to that, I did want to do some other bookish stuff this week, so I'll save the other haul at the end, otherwise you might get bored of having me show you books and talk to you about them. So we're going to do some reading journal. I actually got something else exciting for my birthday that I will show you that we're going to be doing as well. So yeah, if you want to see the other book haul, then stay to the end and we'll get to that soon. Yet another day has passed. I've been at work all day today, but I wanted to get back and start doing some more of the bookish stuff, so now I wanted to update my reading journal. I started doing book journaling about 2 years ago when I came across it on TikTok, and I always get these like nice notebooks for like Christmas and birthdays and stuff, and I never know what to do with them because they're too nice to throw away. So I really like the idea of book journaling so that I could keep the books afterwards and refer back to them. So the first full year that I did it was last year, and it was this journal, like this nice Winnie the Pooh one. You can see how thick it is, like the spine from all of the like collages and stuff is all distorted, but I brought it back a little bit from this one last year, because there was just like a lot of stuff to fill out all the time. So I've got a slightly simplified version, but I still like doing all of the like creative stuff, and the main thing is like the reviews. I love being able to go back and read the reviews of the books, just because sometimes it's been so long, and trying to talk to people about the books and why I enjoyed them, why I rated them, certain things, it's so good to refer back to these. So I find myself often going back. So all 75 books that I read this year are in here with a review. My favourite ones have got like collages and things, and then I'll give you a little flip through actually. I'll show you a couple of the pages and kind of like how I did that, and then I'll show you my one for this year and what we need to do. Okay, so this was last year's journal, so all of the books that I read in 2023. I am not the best at like creative stuff, but I'm still pretty proud of like how this looks, but don't be expecting a lot. So I've got my little 2023 starting reading page. I've got like my shelf that I coloured in and the star ratings that I did for each one. I did another star rating one for the reading goal of the 75 books that I wanted to read that I managed to hit. And then I did all of my 2023 books and star rating in this kind of like grid. I had a reading tracker to kind of see how many days how many days I read versus didn't read last year. And then I had the alphabet challenge, which I didn't manage to complete. Oh dear. Book goals with like a little book bingo, so things like a book with more than 600 pages, published in 2023, recommended, finish a series, all different things that I did manage to do. I had this one for my library read, so I had like a little removable library card that I made, that I kept in there. We'll put that back in a second. A collage of Akatar that I actually read in 2022, but I didn't have like a big journal then, so I wanted to put something in that because it was very much like my favourite reads of the year. I had my book bracket of book of the year, and then Kingdom of Ash actually came out as the book of the year in the end. I just haven't got round to actually printing off the photo and putting it in. A series tracker to see where I started new series and how many books I kind of read in that. As you can see, I'm in the middle of quite a few series, and I am in the middle of even more now. I really need to get back to trying to complete these. And then each month I did a spread with stats and a little shelf with the spines on for each book I read. So I'll give like a super quick. As you can see, there's some months where I read a lot compared to some months where I read very little. But I did that for each one. I feel like December's my favourite, like the little stockings that are so cute. And then all of the reviews came after this, so the rest of the book is literally just reviews and then collages of like my favourite ones, and I would literally do like the title, a picture, the dates that I've read it, the pages, the star rating. In my favourite ones I would do collages like this one for Cruel Prince, and that honestly goes on for so long. I got my collage for Every Summer After that I read. A Throne of Glass, absolutely loved, and then I've still got a couple of like covers missing that I need to go back and add in as well. And then at the end I just did a couple of collages that I missed earlier on that I wanted to add in. This one was another notebook that I've had for absolutely ages, and the reason I chose to do this one is because I'm actually reading the Harry Potter books for the first time this year, so it just made sense to me to use this as my journal to make sure that they were in the Harry Potter theme book. Just me. This is the starter page, so I kept that in, and then a couple of things are different. I like the shelf again, so I drew another one of those with the star rating to match up, and I liked the grid to keep track of the book titles and the star rating. But you'll notice I got rid of the larger grid that was in the 2023, that was just coloured in tiles for each one, because I didn't feel like I necessarily needed that one. And then I did book goals, but I didn't do an alphabet challenge because I didn't do it last year, and I felt like I didn't want to be trying to pick up books toward the end of the year, like trying to find a Z or an X or something, just for the sake of reading it. I didn't want to purchase books for that reason. So I've nearly finished all my book goals this year. I just need to read a biography. And I also got rid of the library reads because toward the end of last year, I wasn't going as often. Books read by month, rather than do an actual daily tracker of how many days of the year I actually read, I thought it would be better to just track how many books that I'm reading per month. And then I've got my book bracket for the book of the year again. And then it just goes on to like my spreads. So I haven't actually got around to printing any of the covers off yet, so this is literally just me like drawing in what they are. So I'm doing a bit of a different spread for each month this time. So obviously it's got like the month, what the book of the month was, and then my stats are kept to kind of how many books, how many pages, how many 5-star reads, what were physical, what were Kindle. So I've got a couple of bits that I need to update, including getting July and August months in, and then this is where my review pages are at the end. Again, haven't managed to get the covers in yet, but I've got a few to update from here. The last book that I updated in here was Done and Dusted by Lila Sage, so I actually haven't updated this since I read Queenie, which means I've got like 3 or 4 books to get added in, and my cover pages for the months to get added on, so that's what I'm going to do for the next little bit. Okay, so the next bookish thing that I wanted to do is actually with one of the gifts that I received for my birthday, and it is the A Court of Thorns and Roses colouring book. I was not expecting this at all. Somebody actually saw it while they were out book shopping in Manchester in one of the Waterstones and bought it for me as a surprise, and I am so happy that they did. I'll have to give you a flip through of it, and I cannot wait to get started on this. Like, this is going to be such a fun activity, especially through like the autumn and winter, as like a little cozy activity to have. So I'll give you a flip through of it now before I start colouring. Hopefully you can see that okay, but this is kind of the front of the cover, so it's a lot more similar to the first book in terms of colouring. On each page it's got like quotes from the book, so this one's from the first one, and as you can see it's got Feyre with a bow and arrow and while she's out hunting. Another quote here from the first book, and then you've got the worm from the trials. The very end of the first book that you see when you see Rhys with his wings for the first time, before he leaves to go back to the Night Court and Feyre goes with Tamlin. This page we start at A Court of Mist and Fury, and it has the most iconic line of all, "Hello Feyre darling," and then obviously you've got the artwork of Tamlin and Feyre, and then Rhys there, Cassian and Asriel. Like, there's honestly so many, so I'm going to start colouring it in, and then I'll keep you updated how I'm getting on with it. Okay, it's finally time for my favourite part of the video and yours, the birthday book haul. Before I get into the books, I do want to show you just a couple of the things that I got other than books for my birthday that I feel like you'll appreciate as well. First, I got the most stunning pair of pink cowboy pyjamas. If you can see, they are the most stunning shade of pink, and then they've got like the cowboy hat, the boot, the little motel sign, the cactus. I'm obsessed with them. They are so, so cute. I got a brand new Jellycat. I got this cute little cloud. He's currently sitting on my little table that's by my reading chair. And I'm going to put him like on top of my TBR every month. But he is adorable. I've only got two Jellycats in total, so I already have this little bean that just sits on my bookshelf. I'm so obsessed with it. The final thing that I wanted to show you is this little pumpkin. I actually got this from my friends at work because one time when we were out at lunch, I was looking at these little felt pumpkins because I'm very much in the autumn vibes, in the fall vibes. I don't care that it's still August. Bring on autumn. So they got me this little white one with like the little gold embroidery detail and the little gold stem. It's literally so cute, and it's sitting on my shelves already. The shelves are looking a bit sparse because I have actually already found all the spaces for my birthday books, but I've just pulled them back off again so that I can show you what they are. So let's get into that now, because I know that's what everybody is waiting for. Oh my god, it just keeps going. Okay, there are a grand total of 21 books that I got for my birthday, so in no particular order I'm going to try and get through these as quickly as I can for you. First off, if you saw in my other video, I am currently reading the Magnolia Park series, so I've read book 1 Magnolia Park and book 2 Daisy Hates, so I also picked up Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home, Daisy Hates The Great Undoing, and Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. This one is like my favourite cover of them, and I actually really like the way the spines all look together on my shelf, so that's Magnolia Park's. I need to find somewhere to put all of these as I do. Let's just put them back on the shelf. Of organisation at the same time for you, why not? Next, I got The Housemaid is Watching by Frida McFadden. I've already read book 1, The Housemaid. I've got the second book on my shelves ready to go. So I thought, since I already own 2, I might as well ask for the third one to complete that set. I really like having these available, just so I've got like a really quick, fast-paced thriller to read, just because I get through so many kind of larger series, whether that is romance or fantasy. I'm reading a lot of series at the moment, so it's really good just to have these as kind of, I feel like palette cleanse is the only word that I can think of, but yeah, that's what these are for. Next, I have got The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This will be my first book by Kristen Hanna. Honestly, I just saw a few people reading this on Firefly Lane online. Haven't seen, I think Firefly Lane's the one that is a film or a TV show, but I haven't seen anything like that. All I saw is that this book makes people cry, and immediately that makes me want to buy it, because I must be like a masochist or something. So yeah, I'm excited to read that and see if it also makes me cry. Up next, because I am very much on an interconnected standalone romance vibe, I picked up the Knock 'Em Out series by Lucy Score. So we've got Things We Never Got Over, Things We Hide from the Light, and Things We Left Behind. I feel like I'm probably the last person around to read these. They've been around for so long, but it's small town romance. They are quite big. Like, I feel like that's why I've avoided picking them up for so long, but I feel like I read so many large books now, I can't let that keep putting me off. And somebody that I work with was absolutely raving about these lately, to the point where I read the Chestnut Spring series for the first time this year, and it is some of my favourite books that I have ever read, and she's reading them currently and is telling me that these are better. So with that kind of endorsement, I have to read them, so I immediately put them on my birthday list. Another one from a recent video, if you saw in my reading vlog, I recently finished Done and Dusty by Lila Sage. Absolutely loved it, so I picked up the next book in the series, Swift and Saddled. I'm very excited to get to this one. If you have read book 1, this one follows the brother Wes. If you haven't picked these up, then I recommend picking up Done and Dusted, and then you'll know who that is. I'm really excited to read this. I love having these on my shelf as well, because I am obsessed with these covers. I think they are the cutest covers of any cowboy romance that I've read so far. So I have these on like a nice little display. I don't know if you can see, they're kind of down here like this. How cute does that look? Let me show you. Do they not look adorable? I'm obsessed. And then carrying on, you'll see on that shelf I've got a lot of my Elsie Silver. So again, I loved the Chestnut Spring series this year. Heartless has been my favourite book of the year so far. So based on that, I decided to do what I think everybody is doing and read Elsie Silver's backlog. So I picked up Off to the Races and A Photo Finish, which are part of the Gold Rush Ranch series, I believe. She's currently re-releasing these covers, so I decided I would pick them up as they come out. Got the first 2 for my birthday, so feeling very lucky about that, and then I can start picking up the others as I go. But I'm very excited to read these because of how much I loved Chestnut Springs and how much I loved Wild Love. I think the next one for the Rose Hill series is out in September, but do not quote me on that. Up next, I've got Not in Love by Ellie Hazelwood. I have only read The Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain by Ellie Hazelwood. I haven't been drawn to pick up any of her other books, but I've seen a lot about this one online, seen a lot of positive reviews, and honestly, it really drew me to it, so I decided to put it on my list. And it is quite short in comparison to others as well. This one is only, please hold, 379 pages, so that's a really nice, short, fast-paced, easy romance read to get to. Yeah, also I really like this cover. How nice is that? Okay. Up next, I've got 1,000 Broken Pieces by Tilly Cole. Last year, I read 1,000 Boy Kisses for the first time. Absolutely cried my eyes out. Was in love with that book. I thought it was a really sweet read. So as soon as I saw this one had come out, I immediately put it on my list, and thankfully somebody brought it for me. So thank you. Next, I picked up yet another series, because if there is one thing to know about me is that I cannot be in the middle of enough series, apparently. So I picked up the Lakefront Billionaire series by Lauren Asher, and that is Love Unwritten and Love Redesigned. I don't know too much about these other than the fact that they're billionaire romance, but I feel like that as a trope kind of says a lot about this as a genre anyway. So I'm going to go into them a little bit blind, but I've heard really good things about these. I'm also obsessed with the covers. How cute are they? And the fact that the spines have got the little 1 and 2 on, they're so nice. So yeah, that's those. These two are both fantasy, but also there are a couple of books that I have actually already read that I needed for my shelves. So another thing to know about me is that I am a massive hoarder, so any books that I have read I do want to have on my shelves, mostly for the goal in mind that apparently you have to have 1,000 books to be considered a library. I don't know where I'm going to fit 1,000 books, but that is the lifetime goal, to make sure that I can consider myself as having a library. Back to the books anyway. I picked up A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber, which is part of the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. Already read the trilogy, already absolutely loved it. If you haven't already read this, it's very much like fairy tale fantasy vibes. It's got a really good romance in there, morally grey character. Absolutely love it. Like, definitely pick this up. And then the other one that I picked up was Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. This is part of the Shepherd King duology. I absolutely loved these. I read them for the first time this year. I already have book 1 on my shelf. I read book 2 on my Kindle, so I wanted to get it on my shelf to complete the duology. This was such a good fantasy read. I recommend it to everybody, partly because it's a short, finished duology, so you haven't got that commitment of like a 6, 7 book long fantasy series where all the books aren't out yet, that I feel like everything is at the moment. It has the most unique magic system of any fantasy that I've ever read. I'm also terrible at describing books, so it's a good job that I am doing this channel. But it is so good. So if you haven't heard about this or want to get into fantasy, then I do think that this is a really strong one to get into. I cannot recommend this one enough. So that's that one. We've got some fantasy books. So I picked up The Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. I've been wanting to get into Cassandra Clare books, but no idea what order to read them. The sole reason that I picked up this one first over any others was because these sprayed edges are absolutely stunning, and this book was only £5.50. Need I say more? I have no more to say. That is the only reason I picked it up. Next, I have got Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I am so impressed with myself for not buying this on immediate release day, because I've been waiting for it for so long. I've already read Powerless and I've already read Powerful. I loved both of those books, so I'm very excited to read this. I know a lot of people have already given their thoughts, and I've seen a lot of mixed things, but I'm still really excited to jump into it myself, get back to Kai and Pei and see what is happening there. Yeah, there's nothing more to say. And then finally as well, I picked up The Nightborn Duet by Carissa Broadbent, which is The Serpent and the Wings of Night and The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. I needed to get some more fantasies on my shelves. I've still got quite a few to read, but autumn winter is very much fantasy time for me, where I've been reading lots of romance throughout the summer and the hot weather. I am one of those people that barely picks up a romance in the summer, so I wanted to make sure I've got some good series to kind of jump into for the autumn winter time. These have been on my TBR for so long. I don't know why it's taken me so long to request them, but I thought my birthday was a good opportunity to get somebody else to buy them for me. They have started releasing the paperback, so I've got the first one in this paperback, and then the second one is still on the hardback release. So they're kind of stuck like this on my shelf because I don't know how else to put them on, because my hardbacks and my paperbacks are separated on here. So that's where they're going to be. That is all of the books that I got for my birthday. Let me give you a quick view of how I've reorganised the shelves to kind of fit everything in. I've got romance over on this side, all the way down until I hit general fiction and mystery thriller down at the bottom. And then on this side, I've got hardbacks right at the top, and then the rest is just my fantasy books. I've got my Sarah J Maas shelf, and then fantasy all the way down. And that is basically the entirety of my shelves. And that unfortunately is the end of this vlog. My birthday is over for yet another year, which means that my physical TBR has now reached brand new levels and I probably need to go on a book buying ban. If you enjoyed this video, it would mean a lot if you drop a like below, and I'm going to try to post every week different bookish videos, so if you do want to see that, then hit subscribe and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!